All right, it's time for another shop talk, and this one today is going to be pretty explosive. There seems to be some high energy going back and forth between uh, certain parties in the Nocta camp and other parties in the Deus 2 camp. Um, and it's getting quite crazy, but makes for good entertainment, right? Now you got people basically they say, hey, um, you know, with the guy in the Deus 2 camp, don't talk about him, don't say anything about him, don't do videos about him because it just basically empowers him. It makes him he makes response videos and then it just spirals out of control. And to that I say yes and no, because there is a certain thing that we must do in this community, especially these days, in overall, because of so much misinformation, bad information, all that kind of stuff. Uh, so we need to police ourselves. All right, we need to police ourselves and police the community. Now, the question becomes, if we don't watch out for ourselves, who will? So you got a lot of guys out there, and it's not just you know, the guy in the Deus 2 camp who's spreading misinformation, doing improper tests, uh, doesn't know that he's doing improper tests. I don't think he knows that. Comparing 6-inch coils to 9-inch coils and calling it the same thing. Uh, you know, his comparison videos are about as properly structured as a train wreck. So he drones on and on comparing about, $600 machine versus a $1,600 machine. It's like comparing apples to oranges. It really is. They're two different machines. Is the Legend better than the Deus 2? Is the Deus 2 better than the Legend? Is the Equinox better than both? Well, these are all questions that you could sit there and whoever is out there will tell you, one thing or the other, and you could believe them if you want to. But I'm going to tell you what the answer is to that. Is the Legend better than the Deus 2? Is the Equinox better than both of them? Is the Deus 2 better than the Legend? I'm going to give you the answer right now. The answer is yes. That's the answer. The Legend is better than the Deus 2 for people who are comfortable using the Legend. The Deus 2 is better for people who are comfortable using that than the other machines. And the same with the Equinox and whatever machine that you may have. So it's about what you're comfortable with. It's about what you feel good using, what gives you confidence. Obviously, the Deus 2 gives that guy a lot of confidence. So, good for him. He's happy about it. But because, of what he says, I'm going to run out and buy a Deus 2? No. I mean, it'd be a nice machine to have, but do I need it? I don't need it. Not right now. He talks about, another big thing he talks about is 3D iron and masking. Okay, he talks about that a lot. Well, above ground, with no iron halos, no halos around the coins, none of that stuff, you can't replicate the in-ground conditions. So, you've got to remember that, okay? The conditions, the tests that you do above ground have no bearing on what's in the ground. In the ground is a totally different ball game. Totally different. So any of the tests that he does are non-reflective of real world detecting. They do not represent real world detecting. So anyways, you have him going on and on about his Deus 2, and then you have the Nocta camp coming back and fighting back. Even the the head of marketing, coming on and making a video. And in my opinion, if she wants to do a Fender product, hey, more power to her. You know, that's her choice, that's her prerogative. And to me, you know, regardless of the Deus 2 guy being, you know, a paying customer or not, whatever you want to look at, you know, she has a right to air her opinion, just like he has a right to air his opinion. And then you got the guy across the pond. I like that guy. You know, I watch some of his videos sometimes. But you know, that's neither here nor there. You know, he does his thing, and you know, when he debunks the Deus 2 guy, you know, I check to make sure that he's doing things right, and normally he is. He's showing things as they are. Now, is this infighting, all this infighting, and all these comparisons, and all these, I guess, attacks, if you want to call them attacks, on other channels and stuff, good for the community? You know, everybody would say no, but I would say that I think it is. I think it's good for the community only because, you know, it gives a lot of opportunities to learn stuff, not only about detectors and about hunting strategies and about, you know, 3D iron above ground, you know, that you'll never encounter in the ground. But it gives us an insight into people. You've got a lot of people out there that they seem to know what they're talking about, but they don't. And then you have some people that really do know what they're talking about. And those are the ones you want to try to listen to. But everybody's different. And I think that the community as a whole will survive all this stuff. But you need to choose. If you're let me just say this: if you are out there trying to determine what type of detector you need to get, and you don't have a detector at all, okay? My advice to you is to get something very inexpensive: a Vanquish, an Ace 250, a Simplex, something very small, to see if you like it. You know, whether it be $1,000, $1,600, $600, those are big investments. And that's what the Simplex, something like the Simplex or the Ace 250 or the Vanquish, those are, you know, they're I'll almost say entry-level detectors. And if you never detected before, you kind of want to go with those, because you may get a complex machine and you may not like it. You may find out going out there and digging 40, 50 targets, and you know 95% of it is trash, or you know 75% of it is you know, just modern coins. It may not be something that you want to do, or you go out there and you find nothing. I've had days where I went out and I didn't find a coin, not a single coin. Granted, the places I was at, but were hit pretty hard. But you need to decide what you want to do when buying a detector. You got to decide what's the best route for you. So that's all I really have to say about this subject. You know, this infighting is just going to continue. It's going to go on, and it's going to grow, because, you know, everybody's going to be getting in on it, and he is going to just keep stoking the fires, because it gets some views, it gets some attention. You know, he just seems like that's what he needs. So he needs that, so he provokes people into doing that. I've warned you guys about the, you know, misinformation, disinformation. We could watch that shop talk, and just use your head. All right, use your head, and you know, if you ask somebody, ask one of the guys using, you know, you could ask me, ask anybody that's using a detector or a video. What do you think? What's your honest opinion? they're trying to push you into something, if they say, hey, yeah, you need to get a Legend, or you need to get a Deus 2, then you kind of know something's up. But if they say, well, you know, what are you looking at? They start asking you questions. You know, what do you think about, you know, doing this? What are your expectations? You know, you think you're going to go out and find a gold ring and every day, and it's just not going to happen. So, as a guy I'd like to think is a friend of mine says, it's the reality of detecting. And that's Joey Detect Vegas. He's a great guy. I recommend you watch his channel. He's absolutely, he's really funny. He's really funny. He's great to watch. But there's a plug for him. He deserves it. He puts in a lot of work too. His videos are high quality, not like my low quality stuff. But anyways, thanks for listening. It's been heck of a day, and I got more great videos coming up. Try to get them out as much as I can. Thanks. Happy hunting.